Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. And in this video, I'm going to be going over this Wix.com review. So this video is going to be particularly useful for individuals who are deciding whether or not to use Wix for their website. And so I've been using Wix for about a year now, and I must say that it's definitely one of the best and easiest website builders out there. But here are some things that you need to be aware about. First off, let's start with the pros. With Wix, you do get a really user-friendly drag and drop editor that makes building a website super easy, even if you have no coding experience. Plus, they have hundreds of templates to choose from, and you can customize pretty much everything. But the downside is that once you choose a template, you can't switch to a different one without rebuilding your entire site from scratch. Now, the biggest cons of Wix though is that although building your website is really easy, you do have to deal with some limitations though. And what I mean by that is sometimes you want to do something specific, but Wix just doesn't allow it or makes it really complicated. So there'll be some months I love how easy it is to update my site, but then there's other months I get frustrated with the limitations of Wix. I think the most time I've spent trying to customize something was like 3 hours just to get a simple layout change, but I've also built entire web pages now in less than 30 minutes. Other things with Wix that I didn't like or don't like currently is that their free plan puts Wix ads on your website, which looks really unprofessional in my opinion, and their loading speeds can be kind of a hit or miss. Sometimes it's slow, sometimes it's fast compared to other website builders that I've used. And unlike more advanced platforms where you have full control over everything, Wix keeps you in their ecosystem whether you like it or not. Now with Wix though, one thing to keep in mind is that you do have to take into account their pricing structure because their free plan is really limited, and once you upgrade to paid plans, the cost can add up, especially if you need advanced features. So you need to factor in monthly costs for hosting premium features and removing their branding from your site. Now with Wix, there can be some performance issues, especially if you add a lot of apps and widgets. So my recommendation is that you keep your site design clean and don't go overboard with adding every single feature available. For me, for example, I only learned to use apps and features I actually need because too many can slow your site down significantly. Now here are my 3 tips for people who want to try out Wix. First tip is to choose your template carefully because once you start building your site, you're basically stuck with that template structure. I made the mistake of choosing a template but then switching templates halfway, and I had to rebuild everything from scratch. Second tip is upgrade to at least the basic paid plan if you're serious about your website, because having Wix ads on your site looks really unprofessional and then you need a custom domain to be taken seriously. I learned this when potential clients mentioned the Wix ads on my site, and it was pretty embarrassing. Third tip is optimize your images and don't overload your site with too many apps. Because Wix sites can get slow pretty quickly, I learned to compress all my images before uploading them, and I'm very selective about which apps I install. My rule is that if an app doesn't directly help my business goals, I don't install it. But with Wix though, I'd say that my experience has been really good overall, especially for someone who doesn't know any coding, and I don't need a professional to help me with my website. And Wix has definitely served its purpose, and with Wix customer support, it's pretty good when you run into any issues, and their knowledge base has answers to most common questions. So with that being said, if you're considering Wix, I'd say just try it out. You won't know until you try it out. I think they have a free plan that lets you test out everything before committing to a paid plan. But I hope you found this video helpful, guys. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below.